Hello, everyone. How are we doing out there? My name is Krista Lee, and this is Exist in Love. If you've been here before, thanks for tuning back in. And if you have not been here before, welcome in. We're not in our usual spot today. We're dog sitting, and this adorable dog is sleeping underneath me. But today I wanted to do a twin flame check-in. So I had already pulled some cards from my astrology deck on the masculine and the feminine and the connection. Now, remember, twin flame, we can be talking about just our internal experience here, but we could also be talking about our twin flame external to us as well. So feel free to interpret that how you would like to. But that inner union really does start with within. So remember that we all have masculine and feminine energies within us as well. Before we get into that, I wanted to just preface with that. But my intention is to pull some oracle cards on both the masculine and the feminine and the connection, and then get into the tarot. I want to look at the past 3 months of the connection, the present moment, and then following 3 months for the connection for both the feminine, the masculine, and the connection. So let's jump into it. For the feminine, so far I have pulled the sixth house sustainability card. And the sixth house is related to our daily routines, daily habits, and sustainability, right? So I feel the feminine is in this place of really trying to work on their daily routines, their daily habits. Like, how does each one of your days truly look? And I feel them really, the feminine really stepping into consciousness in a deeper way, like being really conscious and present with their everyday moments and really starting to rise. I've felt that for a while now, that the feminine energy, the divine feminine, is really starting to rise and step into themselves in a big way that is shifting a lot of things here on the planet. And I feel like it has to do with Pluto and Aquarius a little bit here. So beyond that, for the masculine energy, so you could be doing both of these things too, since we all have, I keep saying it like that, since we all have that masculine and feminine energy within us. Now, the masculine has 10th house and authority. So there could be a focus on career here, and also just like being able to really express yourself out in the world authentically. And think about the combination of these two things, right? Like stepping into possibly mission and purpose, and then this need to really step into healthy daily habits and routines that support this mission and purpose. So both parties could be experiencing this right now. And we are really deep into retrograde season at this time when I'm recording this video. And we have some very significant things going on in the astrology right now. Like, for instance, we have Neptune in Pisces at the last degree, at the anaretic degree, the 29th degree. And it also is the last sign of the zodiac. And Neptune rules Pisces. So, considering that as well, this is closing up a very large chapter of our lives. We're also in a 9-year, the year of the snake. We are really at the tail end of shedding and almost being forced, not even almost, being forced to shed so many things that are no longer serving us. And to now, depending on how much work you have done on yourself, I think no matter what, this has been a very like intense year for a lot of people, but the level of intensity could have varied, taking into consideration what you have done up until this point, like on yourself, work-wise, on yourself. So regardless of that, and I do want to say one more thing, I guess, that a couple months ago, when I was looking into all the astrology for the year and the end of the year, and kind of, I'm a Pisces, and I just was really focused on kind of what Saturn and Neptune were doing between Aries and Pisces. And to looking back at that time, I had wrote down in my notes like October 22nd to no or to December 10th was going to be this time of this internal sacred gift where we're really forced to be in that silence and step into that silence and allow it to transform us in a big way. It is like the last step that is necessary in this 9 year to really bring this transformation full circle. And I'm feeling guided. I went through my poems last night and I have said these poems in some of the other videos here, but I feel this need to bring them up again because I really just resonated, especially like realizing that I had said those predictions about this time period and what that was going to look like. Because think about it, we have Saturn in retrograde right now in Pisces, and we have Chiron in retrograde right now. We have Mercury in retrograde right now. We have Jupiter in retrograde right now. There's a lot happening here that is asking us to really go deep within ourselves, and especially having one of those planets at the 29th degree. And I don't think it will be returning to Pisces in our lifetime, if I'm not mistaken. And that's really closing out major chapters in our lives. And yeah, so it's just really interesting to me that it keeps coming up that it's like we really are just in this like sacred pause right now where we're really having this opportunity to kind of face whatever is still lingering here that is holding us back from fully stepping into our authentic selves, our authenticity, which is hard to sit in, right? But it's also beautiful. And if we can keep leaning into the hope that is there, that we're not doing this for nothing, all of this work and all of this healing. Because it can get quite dark at times, right? This isn't for the faint of heart, this experience here. Even just being alive on this planet at this time. Hold on. And one other thing I want to mention is that it really, what's happening right now too in the divine feminine and the divine masculine, it reminds me of the Barbie movie. It truly does. And how it started with the feminine being kind of insensitive and the masculine being overly, like there was just clearly an imbalance between the masculine and the feminine from the beginning of the movie. And then you see how that power shifted, right? All those feminines kind of went into that like this illusion, this state of not being in tune with who they are and their power. And then the men lost sight of their power because they were in power in a dominating way, in a way that was disrespectful to the feminine. And then in the end, you watch all these feminines step out of that. And I really truly believe that is what's happening in the collective right now. All these feminines are starting to wake up, regardless of gender. The feminine energy within us is starting to rise and awaken. And there is this level of responsibility to really step into this for the healing of the collective. And it is leading us into our mission and purpose here. And it's also shining the light for the masculine energy to really rise as well and to heal. It's awakening them and pushing them to do the healing work. So it's quite a beautiful, tumultuous experience to be having. But there's one poem that I want to read. Okay, give me 1 second to find this poem really quick. Ah, I found it. Okay. Ooh, I just gotta chill. So yeah, this poem I feel is very, I wrote this when I kind of did that overview of the astrology I was just talking about, and this is kind of the time frame of where I think it's most important to bring back up because I think a lot of us are experiencing this silence right now. Um, Okay, so it's called Silence, and it says a love letter, a pause, an opportunity to go deeper, to sit with the fear, to sit with the sadness, to allow your heart to open deeper to yourself, to honor the wounds and surrender, to allow them to slow your speed and steady your pace, to hold your own heart while the pain of yesterday finds softness in your arms. It's in the silence, the turmoil, where you remember. So from October 22nd to December 10th is when Neptune is at that 29th degree. And that, again, like I said, is to me this moment to really wrap up all the loose ends of our past so that we can really put it to rest and to move forward into our path and be able to and then we have this time frame of from December 10th to January 26th when Neptune is starting to move back out of Pisces and, back into Aries at the 0 degree when we can really start to move forward. And a lot of the other planets will start to go forward around the end of January, February, into March. So, really giving ourselves that moment to rebuild, to heal, to kind of look at these old patterns and these old ways of doing things and to not repeat them again, to change the behaviors and to really step into ourselves in a bigger way. So let's get into the oracle. Well, actually, wait, I forgot to talk about the cards that were underneath that to me signified the connection between the divine feminine and the masculine. And we had this communication come out. Now, I don't necessarily think maybe there will be communication in the future, but I don't necessarily think it's about communicating with your twin flame at this moment in time. Now, it could be. We can look deeper into the reading as we go along here. But what also came out was Venus and Jupiter, because I wanted to clarify that. And right now, Jupiter is just went retrograde in Cancer, which to me is this kind of reclaiming of our internal abundance, and Venus coming out there. So this receiving energy, stepping into this energy of receiving. And I think this is more about really understanding how we feel and healing our connection to Venus and allowing ourselves to, understand how we feel so that we can communicate that well with others. And it's like all of these things kind of communicating with each other as well. These dynamics here in the 5D or in the 3D. So let's look at the feminine energy with the oracle here. Inner wisdom coming out for the feminine and the masculine. Sacred healing. Now let's see what's on the bottom. Personal power. Yeah. So I get this sense. Let's pull one on that communication card specifically and see just maybe a little bit more insight about what that is meaning here. Let's see what wants to come out here. Soul awakening, divine masculine. So, interesting. We have the divine masculine on the bottom, right? And soul awakening coming out, clarifying that communication. So personally, how I'm going to take that is I feel the feminine really learning how to step into their voice in a deeper way. That's been very prominent for me, at least, speaking to this collective of feminines. So I do imagine that a lot of other feminines are experiencing this as well, is really stepping into your voice in a really powerful way. And even Venus and Jupiter coming out with that communication card tells me that that could be Venus related to the feminine energy stepping into that more. But then also on the other side of that, there is this soul awakening happening, right? As we talk about that, the more you step into your voice and you can really understand who you are and then be able to communicate that clearly out into the world is so powerful. That combination there. So there's the soul awakening in that sense, probably for both parties, as they do mirror one another. But in terms of the divine masculine card being on the bottom too, I get the sense that it is kind of like up to the masculine to come through with communication eventually. And that celebration card falling out here. So let's talk about the cards for both parties here. We have the inner wisdom coming out for the divine feminine, sacred healing coming out for the divine masculine, and personal power coming out for both. So again, both parties are experiencing this stepping into their personal power, which is the goal, right? That is the whole kind of, not the whole point of twin flame, but that is a big piece of it, because you have to really step into both your masculine and feminine to really be able to hold that frequency. And the inner wisdom here, the divine feminine waking up and leading the way spiritually, shining the light so that the masculine can see and heal. So that oftentimes I feel that when a feminine really stands in their power, a lot of people could fall away, even the divine masculine, because when you're shining that light so brightly, it can shine the light on things that need to be healed, and that can be very difficult for people to be faced with, right? But ultimately, the sacred healing card coming out for the divine masculine. So to me, this is like healing on a very deep level, like healing ancestrally, healing ancestral wounds, and really stepping into themselves in a deeper way as well. And it's like the more that this divine feminine can rise and step into themselves, the more that this divine masculine is going to continue to heal and also step into themselves. So let's pull some angel cards to see. I did call in the archangels for this reading, and I want to see what the archangels have to say for the divine feminine. Whoa, that one wanted to come out. Counselor. You are a natural counselor, and many people benefit from your guidance and your reassurance. Beautiful energy here. So again, what I just said is like the more that this feminine can shine the light and continue to rise and trust their divine knowing, the more that this is going to create healing for the collective here. Let's see about the masculine energy here. Angel therapy. Yeah, lots of like healing around the masculine at this time. Archangel Raphael, give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burden. So the masculine really being encouraged to realize that they are not alone, that there is a lot of divine presence around them trying to help them heal and awaken in a deeper way. And yeah, there's a lot of healing energy surrounding the masculine, helping them to heal and step into themselves more. And the divine feminine definitely being encouraged to continue to shine the light here. So let's get into the tarot, and I want to look at I think I already said it. The past 3 months for the feminine and the masculine and the connection, and then the present moment, and then the following 3 months. So So let's get it out. We're going to start with the feminine. Ten of Wands for the feminine the past 3 months. Let's see about the present moment. Three of Cups. Okay, putting down the burden, focusing on relationships that are nourishing to them, and the future for the feminine. Okay, that was way too many cards, so we are going to keep shuffling. The future for the feminine, please. One card. King of Swords. Okay, the masculine, past 3 months. The World card, closing out a major chapter and cycle in their life. The masculine in the present moment. The Star card, healing. Sacred healing happening for the masculine. Let's look at the next 3 months for the masculine. The Temperance card. Yes, masculine. Love to see that. Really starting to balance their energies more here. Let's look at the connection the past 3 months. Okay, that weirdly fell out. Seven of Wands. Both parties putting up boundaries in this connection. The present moment for this connection. The Five of Cups. Now, you could be in a period of silence with your masculine, which I think a lot of people are, or your feminine if you're a masculine watching this, and could be feeling at a loss of hope for the connection here. Now, the following 3 months for the connection. That was too many. Let's keep shuffling. Just one card, please, Spirit, for the connection in the next 2 months. Four of Wands, healing, celebration. And on the bottom, Three of Wands, this manifestation card, kind of awaiting for your manifestations to come through. So let's talk about this a little bit more. I need a sip of water. We have the Ten of Wands for the feminine here. So I feel the feminine could have really been carrying the burden of this connection or the weight of this connection for the past couple months here, really just feeling the burdens. But if we think about this in terms of just ourselves too, right? Like this could just be a lot of heaviness on us in terms of the weight of the past, really heavy on us as we're trying to heal and move through this energies. And now finally, as we start to get closer to the end of this year, starting to let that heaviness go and focusing on friendships and connections and things that are nourishing to them. And then in the future, we have the King of Swords. So the next 3 months is this really cutting away from anything that is no longer serving us or blocking us from really stepping into ourselves fully. Now the masculine. So, right, the feminine, this could have been emotional burdens. Let's look at that. Let's look at what this, I'm curious, like what exactly is this Ten of Wands and how is it kind of like shown up in the 3D? What is this Ten of Wands? Yeah, so the Page of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. An opportunity to really heal emotional burdens so that we can step into this Nine of Cups. It is an opportunity for us to really step into ourselves in our own sovereignty alone as a feminine. Like, how do I say that in a way of talking about like the connection? I mean that our feminine energy healing from the inside out so that we are no longer bogged down by like the collective suffering. Do you know what I mean by that? I feel as though a lot of divine feminines, when we talk about the wounds of the divine feminine, not only is there repression there and suppression, but there is also this like emotional burden of carrying the weight of the connection and such an imbalance of like giving all of our energy away and not really receiving in return. And I feel like this opportunity was for us to really kind of recognize the burdens that we've been carrying for so long and an opportunity for us to see that and really start to let it go. And I feel like it was in a way forced upon us. It could have been, this could have been, for instance, meeting your masculine and not feeling that reciprocal energy and it forcing you into a period to really give that energy back to yourself and to allow time for you to rebalance that energy of giving too much, giving away your energy. Now, the yeah. Let's see what you're cutting away from before we move on to the masculine. What is this King of Swords? Like, feminine, what are you cutting away from here in the next 3 months? So the rest of November, December, January is really what I'm thinking. Five of Swords and the Chariot on the bottom moving forward. Now, the Five of Swords, you're cutting away from any manipulation, any imbalances of energy here. You're no longer accepting this energy of lack or manipulation. Anything else on this Five of Swords here? Six of Pentacles, yeah. You are now only willing to accept things that are give and take, reciprocal, because otherwise it's going to drain your energy. There's no way around it. And there's literally like you cannot accept that any longer because yeah, High Priestess on the bottom. It's as long as the feminine energy is getting drained, talking for both the masculines, the feminines out there, we all have it within us, remember? So it's like the feminine sides of us can no longer give from an empty cup or allow people to take from our full cup. There has to be nourishment there and balance. So I feel like this is really the feminine sides of us, like learning how to protect our energy and focus on what is nourishing to us and things that have balance and give and take here. Now let's look at the masculine side, this World card. What is being closed out here? Ace of Wands coming out here. King of Wands. Anything else here? The Lover's card. Interesting. The Chariot. You didn't really answer my question. What's being closed out, though? Well, I have two things to say about this, but hold on. What are we walking away from here? It's like, okay, there's a few things. It's like they don't want to talk about the past anymore. There's no need to kind of talk about the pain of the past. It's being closed out, and there is this movement forward. The Ace of Wands. I can't show you the Lover's card because they're naked. The King of Wands. The Chariot card, and the King of Cups. So the masculine is definitely starting to move forward, and I love to see that. I get the sense that there could be this closing out of coming on to, how do I say this? Fire energy, Ace of Wands and King of Wands. That combination is very passionate and strong in that energy. But there's this need of balance there still. We can't just have all passion and no emotions. And the King of Cups coming out here too, it's like the King of Cups feels a lot of emotions but doesn't know how to communicate it. And with the Lover's card and the Chariot here, I get this sense that this connection, the twin flame connection, kind of awoken all of these things to be seen. And also, like, on the flip side of this, it's giving them this opportunity to really come forward in a more grounded way with that Knight of Pentacles energy on the bottom here. So anything about this movement forward? Any other inquiries before we move forward? King of Cups and Queen of Cups, an even match here. Anything else on the bottom? Medicine wheel, balance, healing happening here. And the Star card in the present moment, definitely some deep healing taking place in the present moment. And that Temperance card, balance. Balance between the masculine and feminine energy. The masculine could be learning how to take better care of themselves and starting to make amends with whatever chapter that they have recently closed out in their lives. Now, again, this could be speaking about our own masculine and feminine energies here. Now, the connection. We have the Seven of Wands in the past, so the past 3 months. This connection could have, you both could have. Now, this could be also, if you're someone who's just looking at this from a standpoint of your internal experience, this could be you kind of closing yourself off to do this healing work here. But if we're talking about a connection, you both could have put up loving boundaries to protect yourselves, to allow all of this healing to take place here. In the present moment, now, individually, you're both starting to rise, do better, right? But in terms of the connection, there's a feeling that all is lost. But what they don't realize is that there are still cups standing in the back here. There's still opportunity for healing here. But in the moment, in this silence, there could be this sense that all is lost and this opportunity is lost. Should we pull one more card on the Five of Cups? Sure. One more card on the Five of Cups. The Devil card. Interesting. Anything else on the Devil card? The Five of Wands in reverse. The Page of Cups. So both had to step away to really heal this internal conflict and step out of that internal conflict and really face their shadows that was causing this defensiveness to begin with, because there was this need to heal this double energy, codependency, addiction, our shadow side. And what better time to do that than Scorpio season? Now, in the next 3 months, we have Four of Wands, healing energy, celebration. We already had that celebration card coming out here as well. So what is this Four of Wands here? Anything else before I share? Okay. So we have the suspended person, which is the hangman, the king of pentacles, and the page of swords. So there might be some stagnation here, but I feel like it's because there's this want to really create a stable foundation for this connection to be able to sustain itself and start from a clear slate with that Page of Swords energy, coming in from a clear space with the intention of creating a true foundation for this to thrive. Anything else with this? Anything else? Two of Cups. Yes. Union coming together. And even match that page or the King of Cups and Queen of Cups matching energy that came out when clarifying the masculine's energies. So really being patient with this healing and continuing to focus on yourself and your energy here, I think is very important. I want to pull we're going to pull a lot of cards still. I want to pull some cards from my Vision of the Souls deck. So these are like meditation cards, a lot of them related to the chakras. So let's pull one for the feminine. Okay, I want to pull for the masculine and then the connection, and then I'll show you. I'm like getting excited. Oh my God. The masculine and the connection. Oh my God. Okay, so the feminine. We have regeneration coming out here. The feminine literally regenerating, stepping into themselves in a big way. Look at how beautiful that card is. Stunning energy. Beautiful. So beautiful. Wow. These cards amaze me, truly. I need to use them more. For the masculine, we have yin yang coming out, divine union. So I don't use these cards very often. I didn't even know that there was a divine union card in this deck, to be honest. So the fact that it's coming out in this twin flame reading is so beautiful. And then we have Archangel Metatron for the connection. I feel like Archangel Metatron's really trying to help this connection come together. So I'm noting that in my own head to meditate with Archangel Metatron and to lean into their energy. Now, I do kind of just want to look at what Archangel Metatron has to say, or like what his energy is about. Let me try to find his card really quick. Okay, I found it. Ascension, sacred geometry, creativity, masculine balance, cosmic activation, power, and protection. Metatron comes through this card embodying the angelic realm and connecting you fully to the cosmic energies now flowing to Earth. Metatron's cube is a portal and key to activating your Merbaka, your light body. You are an integral aspect of the evolving universe, and every conscious and unconscious thought or action you make contributes to the evolution of life throughout the cosmos. Now it's time to contribute in your own unique way, fully aware, fully conscious, with a knowing and acceptance of your part in this divine process. Metatron harmonizes your masculine aspect, bringing into balance years of misguided masculine-feminine interaction on this planet. So that's kind of what I was talking about when I spoke about that. Not kind of, it is what I was talking about when I was speaking on the movie Barbie. He will awaken in you an understanding of your true spiritual power. And this is happening for both right? Step into the center point of Metatron's cube through the gateway of his heart and allow your soul aspect to grow in it. So that's about like meditating into this card, but wow, what a powerful energy. All related to the masculine and feminine energies there. So if you are on this twin flame journey, I would definitely recommend maybe connecting to Archangel Metatron in meditation or reading on Archangel Metatron. I know I'm going to be after this reading, so just want to put that out there. What else do I want to do here? Let's pull. Why not? Let's make it a little more intense. Why don't we? We have the Phoenix card Oracle deck, and it is Scorpio season. So let's pull some of my archetype cards. One for feminine, masculine, and the connection. These ones can be a little intense, so let's see what wants to come through for the feminine. The Warrior. Yes, Mars energy, Aries energy, even Scorpio energy here. Feminine, you have been through it. You have gone through many trials and adversities to become this warrior, to become this resilient being who has been refined and refined and refined and pressurized like a diamond to really become this very strong individual. Now, I'm also getting you could be an empath yourself, but something that is so powerful for an empath is to create those boundaries and being able to protect your energy. That makes an empath unstoppable. And I feel like that's really what that card is saying to me. That you have gone through so many trials and tribulations, and it has made you stronger and more wise and understanding on a deeper level how energy works and how necessary it is to protect your frequency and your energy and your sovereignty and your peace and your happiness, and to really step into that energy, to step out of the chaos and the emotions and the dependency on what's going on in the 3D, and being able to lock into your connection to the higher realms, to really continue to shine this light and to be a resilient leader in this world. The masculine, the traitor. Interesting. Let's see about the connection as well. Now, I've never read the traitor card from the book, and I'd like to do that here. There's too many cards. Now, one card on the connection itself, please. The denier. Interesting. Let's look at them. I told you it could be intense. Now, Pegasus on the bottom here. That's where we're headed. The year of the horse, too, next year. So also remembering that we're only looking 3 months into the future here. Now, let's see what this traitor energy is. $162. Teaches you important lessons about self-esteem and self-respect. It asks you to become aware of how you negotiate with your power and how you believe you can best influence your life. The traitor asks you under what circumstances you are willing to trade your beliefs, truths, values, dreams, goals, and needs for a sense of safety. Under its influence, you can find out your true values and beliefs you may have unconsciously adopted from the imprints of your childhood and other people. So this is the masculine really starting to understand their own sense of power and their own authority in the world and being able to like step into themselves and like really know who they are and like who they are beyond what other people have imprinted into them. Like really being able to know what they like and what they don't like and what they want out of this life and just truly stepping into themselves in a bigger way here. Now, the denier. Interesting that that came out for the connection. Let's see what that's about. 63. Okay. Reminds us that there can be moments in our lives when we close ourselves off from difficult realities to protect ourselves. Repression and denial are not healthy coping strategies, but there are moments in our lives when we can feel so overwhelmed or traumatized that we need time to recover and begin to process our emotions. Okay. In such moments, denial can temporarily serve as a protective mechanism until we are ready to face reality and, if necessary, seek help. It is also understandable that in protracted and difficult situations, we need small times out to distance ourselves from emotional burdens. These moments in which we suppress the difficulties for a while can allow us to experience moments of lightness in the midst of pain and to recover internally. They allow us to return with new energy and a clearer view to find solutions or get ready to deal with our painful feelings and integrate them. So I feel like that is where this connection is currently, and that's why like we have this Archangel Metatron energy helping us to heal. And this is what I've been saying is like there's definitely feels like in this collective that I'm speaking to that there is a period of separation for healing to take place, and both parties could have really been traumatized in their lives as a lot of twin flames go through a lot of difficulty early on in their experiences in their lives, usually at a younger age, to prepare them for this mission and this union. And another thing is, too, when twin flames meet, that can bring up a lot in both parties, a lot of wounds, a lot of things that need to be healed and addressed. And it can be almost too intense of a frequency for there not to be a period of separation, for there not to be a moment to gain clarity and to have that sacred pause and that healing. So I feel that's what's going on here. Now, we can't really leave the feminine out here. We're going to read the warrior card as well. Because it always just gives you a little bit deeper dive. But I usually, unless I haven't read it before, I usually don't read them out like from the book. But I want to today. Okay. The warrior card encourages you to unleash your inner strength. It can give you the power to stand firm in the face of life's challenges and claim your right to a fulfilling life. Go out in the world, pursue your goals, and fight for what you believe in, not just for yourself, but for others. This dweller of the inner world symbolizes your inner struggle for personal growth and self-realization and the determination to answer your call. This archetype asks you to overcome your your fears, face challenges, and take your place in the world. If you have ever in your life had to draw on strength within you that you have no idea was there, then you have met your inner warrior. Ooh, this archetype of your inner warrior. What? I'm getting emotional and I'm messing up the words here. This archetype of your inner world should live in balance with your inner queen or king. A warrior of light is led by a mature queen or king who sets clear goals and acts responsibly. So back to the beginning of this reading. With the feminine energy, this sustainability, this creating these daily habits to really lead in this twin flame connection here. And this isn't just about coming into union with a masculine in the physical plane. It's about our internal union, our ability to step into our full authentic self so that we can shine the light and take action in the world. The feminine shining the light, the masculine being able to take that action in the world. And this is all so deeply connected to the beginning of the reading and just everything. But this warrior energy, this is what I was saying earlier. Stepping into an energy that you didn't even know you had within you. And you finally are finding access to this because of whatever's going on in the astrology, whatever's shifting collectively for us, that's allowing us the opportunity to heal the weight of not only our own burdens, but the burdens of our ancestors and the people that came before us that didn't have these opportunities. And this is shining the light not only for ourselves, but this is to inspire others to step into their light. This is to bring healing on a very deep level when you can really embody yourself and go full steam ahead towards your goals and be happy no matter what is going on in the 3D. And to keep leading the way for yourself. And the more you step into that, the more your confidence grows and the more authentic you become, in my opinion. And the more that shines the light to inspire others. That's so beautiful. I love it. So yeah, just really like that's what I mean too. It's like the feminine kind of full steam ahead moving forward and the masculine really starting to understand who they are and think about the combination of those energies coming together. And the sacred pause to really step into this energy in a bigger way. So I kind of want to see. Now, I feel like having the Pegasus on the bottom too is like what this is all leading to, like overall. And we are stepping into the year of the horse next year. So let's read Pegasus as well, because that is just such a stunning card. And I pulled it a few times and I have never read it from the book. Give me 1 second. I'm almost there. Okay. The Pegasus represents the element of air. It stands for freedom and independence, for the ability to communicate, to be mentally flexible and change internally. You need the air element to allow new thoughts, a new perception, and new visions. It inspires you to seek out new horizons, live your creativity, walk your path of inner healing, and accompany others on this path. It encourages you to question old limitations and helps you to become aware of old wounds that have led to these limitations. The air element will always challenge you to live your individuality and originality, to exchange ideas with others and to gather new ideas. Air wants to know, learn, and understand and gives you the ability to listen, the willingness to change your own mind, to accept new ideas, and to give wisdom and inspiration to others through your words. The power of prayer is also connected to the element of air. Far up in the skies, Pegasus flies and brings the longing to transcend this world and connect with the energies and the intangible aspects of existence. This teaches you what it means to live with integrity, even if you are alone in your opinions. You are tested in your ability to question your beliefs and convictions and to let go or change them and try something new. The key to this lies in the sacred act of forgiveness. Forgiveness helps us to release people and places whose purposes in our lives has long since been fulfilled. So again, this is, I feel like, what both parties, no matter what, are leading to, regardless of like 3D connection. But I do feel like there is true healing in this connection and union happening within. And the whole point is so that you can let your freak flag fly, and really embody yourself, masculine and feminine energy, and allow yourself to be this bright, unique light in the world that is walking their own unique path. And again, shining the light not only for themselves, but for the others around them. And the more and more that I step into my own sense of self and expression that has been repressed for such a long time, like just stepping into this, really, I feel this sense of shining the light like it's not really a choice. Otherwise, I would just be living in turmoil. And it's not really it's for the collective. I want to say it's not really for anyone else. It's not from a place of wanting to be like looked at a certain way or to be like a guide for anyone. Like I do find it very off-putting if anyone's ever like referring to themselves in such a way, but it's really for when you can liberate and like alchemize the energy within you, it frees you and it just naturally shines a bright light that inspires. That I think is the appropriate word. Inspires others to do the same and shows us that amongst all the odds, amongst what we've been told, how we were raised, we can live a different life that isn't unfulfilling. You know what I'm saying? You can walk a unique path. You don't have to take the cookie cutter road that is kind of laid out for us. And that does take a lot of courage and a lot of unraveling of old belief systems. And yeah, so I don't know where all that came from, but I'm glad that it was said. Okay, I'm gonna pull from my Starseed Oracle cards to close out the reading. And this is because it's just like a very light, well, it's kind of an intense deck also, but it has a light energy to it, and I'd like to just wrap up with that. I just want to do an overall message. I don't really want to continue to look at this as a separate. I just want to close it out. So we're just going to pull 3 cards for an overall message. Ah! Okay. Okay, y'all. So we have activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. So the universe is asking you to trust this path. We have you're not alone, isolation, physical connection, and community. So remembering that spiritually we're not alone, that we have a lot of guidance and love around us, and that we can always ask the archangels, our well-tended ancestors, for guidance and help, the spirit guides that we have relationships with. Remember that our connections to the other side, they are relationships. They are things that should be nurtured, and there should be give and take there. But also leaning into our physical communities here on earth, family, friends, communities, going to a class, connecting. If you don't have a ton of friends or community in your general vicinity, going to a class, meeting new people, finding ways to connect, even if it's online. Jump in, adventure, say yes to change, and look at like they're jumping into an eyeball. So really doing this inner dive and exploring all that you are. And inner earth, you'll survive this new solution and beginnings. I think this was my favorite twin flame check-in so far. I feel very good about it, and I feel like we are collectively, in ways, moving in a good direction. So I'm sending you all so much love and light. And yeah, if you are on this path or have any feedback or anything at all, feel free to comment. I'd love to connect with y'all more. So, all right, I'm going to leave you with that and see y'all soon.